This video is brought to you by the FarmerKlein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Monette Farms. But before that, this video is brought to you by Donald Smart and Tank Fooder. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Monette Farms map can be found over at the FarmingSimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for PC players only. Let me read you a little bit of the description. Welcome to Monette Farms. This map is based off Monette Farms headquarters located in Swift Current, Canada. They own and operate several other farms across Canada and also the United States. This map consists of 17 fields of various sizes and shapes, Monette cattle farm, as well as the Monette seed production, and many new farm and map models. Now, this map also includes a required mod in the Bergolt 3420 Paralink, hoe drill, and air cart, so be sure to also activate that. Let's go ahead and load on in. We are going to use the mods that we typically use when we take a look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. We also have the Bergolt required mod activated as well. Now, if you take a look at this map in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find that the main starting farm is empty of all buildings, but we do have decorative elements on the main farm, and that is because those decorative elements are not sellable in any play mode. In all play modes, we also have a large fleet of starting equipment, and also in all play modes, the cow farm exists exactly how you're going to see it in new farmer mode, which is how we are loading the map up now, in addition to the fact that you will own 150 cattle at the start in all play modes. For that, let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. We're going to zoom on out here, and the main starting farm is predominantly right here in the center of the map. Our cattle farm is over here to the east of our main starting farm. The bulk of our sell points on the western edge of the map, to the north, and then to the south. This map does include all of the standard crop types available to us in a Farm Sim 22. And if we take a look at the lands area, you will see that we start out by owning farmland ID 1, 11, 8, 20, 20, 28, and 30. Farmland ID 20 is the main starting farm. That can be bought in any other play mode other than New Farmer for $61,686. Farmland ID 28 is the cow farm. It can be bought for $68,334. And then we have Farmland ID 1 for $215,000. Farmland ID 11, $197,000. Farmland ID 8 for $78,000, and then the large cow pasture Farmland ID 30 for $188,000. Now we do have the ability to buy the road network, which is Farmland ID 25 for $173,000, and then everything else on the map can be purchased as well. Taking a look at our farmland lease screen, farmland lease screen is going to show us all of the buyable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any fields or fields, how many and what fields they are included, and then ultimately how much is that farmland going to cost us. As you can see, we have some pretty reasonable prices for farmland. Here we have our largest plot, farmland ID number 12, which is 59 hectares in size, and it is $886,000. We move over to our field calculator screen. This is going to show us the fields and the specific sizes of those fields. So we pointed out farmland ID 12 just a little bit ago, and now we have field 12, which is on farmland ID 12, which is 54 hectares in size. Now, if we take a look at our crop counter, we do have the standard base game crop counter that is available to us in Farm Sim 22 on the map. And then as we run down through our prices screen, we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game crops that are also available to us in FS22. In addition, we do have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk. We also have the ability to sell our silage, hay, straw, and grass. Now, if we take a look at our productions, we do have the ability to sell some of our productions, but not all of our productions. We are missing the ability to sell our fabric and clothing. And then in addition, even though we do have a sawmill on this map pre-placed, we do not have the ability to sell our planks or furniture without putting down an additional sell point. We do have the ability to buy bulk lime, and we also do indeed have a stone crusher. So if you are playing with stones enabled, you do not need to put anything else down. And if you are playing with the Platinum expansion and wish to use any of the Platinum expansion production items, you will see that we do not have the ability to sell any of the Platinum expansion items at the start. So you will need to put down either the Platinum expansion sell point or your own sell point down that is going to work with those productions. And then finally, if you are playing with pumps and hoses, you do have the ability to use separated manure and sell that down at the bale sell point. Taking a look at our starting fleet, we start out with a large list of machinery and a fairly large size or large scale machinery at that. All of our machinery is owned, none of it is leased, and it all has very low operating hours. Now, with respect to our animals, we do start out with 150 cattle in all play modes. And what is interesting about this is the animal pen that we're going to see that is pre-placed on the map only going to support 140 cows. So we already start overloaded by 10. So if you want to have your cows reproduce, you will need to sell down those animals in order to get below the 140 count. We do have contracts available on the map. We do not own any of the production chains at the start, and this map does have 2 collectibles. I will tell you, one of those collectibles is going to pay out very, very well. You might just find a backpack running alongside a road somewhere. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with the JCB Fast Track 4220 medium tractor. And then for our large tractors, we have a pair of Case Steiger quad tracks. We have a wheeled Steiger. Then we have the Maxim 400 power drive from Case IH. We also have a pair of Mack Anthem 6x4 semi-trucks. We've got 4 Case Axleflow 9250 harvesters. And for those harvesters, we have 3 Terraflex 45 Draper grain headers and a single 18-row corn header. We've got our 1986 pickup truck. And then we have Load King. We've got the Super B pull trailer and the Super B lead trailers. So we have a pair of AB trailers from Load King. We've also got a pair of Demco 2200 dual auger grain carts. We've got the Case IH Speed Tiller 475 disc harrow. We've got our Bergault 34-2100 Paralink drill and air cart. That is the required mod. That is also our seeder. We've got the GMD 4411 side mower, the Vanex 904 tedder. We've got the Rapide 580V forage wagon. We have our PF2 24 Plus TMR mixer. Then we have our Hauer XB190 front loader. And for the front loader arms, we have a universal bucket, manure fork, and a bale spike. We have a 2,300 kilogram front weight. And then we round it all out with the Conveyall 1690 belt. Taking a look at our mods and DLCs, you will see that this map does not have any required mods, does not have any custom vehicles or implements that are a part of the map. We do have the required mod, though, in the Bergault 3420. Wow, that was a good one. Let's go ahead and kind of take a look at our starting farm here. We've got our farmhouse. And inside our farmhouse, we have our wardrobe back here in the leaf room. And then we have our sleep trigger, located right here across the hallway. A nice little living room. There we go. So we got our farmhouse. Got a shed. We have our fuel tank here. Now, the fuel tank is permanently a part of this map. We will not be able to sell the fuel tanks. It'll be for fertilizer. We do have the ability to sell that. We also do have the ability to sell this shed. Nice large empty shed. Here we have our maintenance trigger. Let's see if we can find our activation icon inside the office here. There you go. So we do have the ability to customize our vehicles and implements here on the farm. We have several grain bins along this side of the farm. These are all individual bins, and as such, you'll be able to use the auger to load those, and you'll need another auger to pull grain out. We have our air cart. And then along this side of the farm, we have a large silo system. So we have our output pipe. And then at the end of the silo system, hold on a moment as I run down there, we have our dump station. We have some more individual grain bins. And then we have fertilizer storage. And each one of these is also an individual bin. We have seed storage. And these are in pairs. So we have one there. We have one right there. We have herbicide storage. And that is all one set of buildings. And then that is pretty much the starting farm. Not a lot going on here. A lot of storage, a lot of silos. Because, well, I mean, as you can tell from the starting equipment, it is designed for some large-scale farming. Now let's go ahead and check out the build mode, because we do have the ability to put down some custom buildings. So as far as sheds go, we have the vehicle workshop that we can put down. We have the shed that we can put down, and we can sell all of these. We have a open shed there. We have a redhead dealership. And then we have our a small round shed there. Under silos, we do have the flat bottom bin. We have our silo system located right here that's going to hold 1,750,000 liters worth of product. We also have a fermenting silo, which we're going to find over at the cow farm. Under silo extensions, we're good to go. We have our modded fuel storage that is located here on the farm, as well as a lime station. Got another shed, which is over at the cow farm. And then under farmhouses, we do have a pair of farmhouses. Under production, we do have some production that is a part of the map. We have the Swift grain elevator, which is basically the flour mill. We can place that. It is also pre-placed on the map. We have the sawmill that is pre-placed on the map, as well as the Swift dairy. We have de-root, which is a root crop sell point, as well as sugarcane. We have Monette seeds that we can put down. We also have the Swift market. No custom greenhouses, orchards, or generators. We do have the ability to put down the custom animal building, the cow building, that is over at the cow farm, over there. No other custom animals at all. And we have fairly standard decorative elements available to us on the map. And as far as landscaping, our ground textures are fairly standard. And then we have fairly standard plant textures as well. Now, one thing that I did remiss and kind of skip over, let's go ahead and run back here and take a look at our precision farming soil map. As you can see, we are using the generic soil map on here, and as such, we have quite the separation of soil types pretty much scattered around every field on the map. Let's go ahead and take to the skies and get ready for a little bit of a fly around. As we raise up, you do get a sense of scale on how much land is being used by the starting farm here. We have the ability to store quite a lot of grain and other products at the starting farm. And then across the way, we've got a large cow pasture here. Then we come up to the cow farm. None of the buildings at the cow farm, other than the silage bunker, can be sold. So overall, with respect to our map scoring system, when it comes to can the farms be customized, we're going to give the map 3/4 of a point. While we can sell pretty much everything at the starting farm over there, other than some decorative elements, we are missing the ability, in my opinion, to sell off a good chunk of the cow farm. Would be nice to go ahead and have that ability as well. As far as productions built into this map includes 5 production items already built in. We have a fermenting silo, dairy, seed production, sawmill, and grain elevator. Now, the grain elevator is a flour mill, so that is what production that is going to work with. We will be giving the map a full point with respect to that. In addition, we also are going to have several areas around the map that are clearly set up for construction zones, like this one right here. So that is also going to play into the scoring metric with respect to areas set aside for build modes. Then we have the D-root sell point. We also have our stone crusher here in the southeast of the map. As you are exploring the map, be sure to be on the lookout for those custom collectibles. They are book bags, and they will pay you out a pretty good fortune. So here we have the sawmill. We have a fuel point. Custom fuel point. There's a nice little diner in there. We'll take a look at that during the drive around portion. Directly ahead, we have our vehicle shop, located right there. Our flour mill is just beyond that. And then we have some more build zones. We have our dairy down here. We have our lime fill point. Our spinnery sell point. Then it's off to the north. There we have our starting farm again. You can see the fields are pseudo-flat. They've got some rollingness to them, but you shouldn't have too much of a time in doing your farm work on those fields, especially given the size of the starting equipment. We have our animal dealer below here and another build zone just beyond that. And then we have Monette seeds. This is going to be a grain sell point. And then another fuel point. So let's head back over to the vehicle workshop. We'll get our Mahindra in. We'll do a little bit of a drive around, checking out all of the points of interest, including the dairy farm that we just kind of breezed over during the fly around portion. So at the dealership, we're going to need to go inside to activate our dealer triggers. But first, we have our service counter to get to our dealer trigger for customized selling, repair, trade, and repaint. And then we have our shop trigger to buy things. Let's go ahead and get our Mahindra. Now, as far as our trigger for repair, right, we have the activation icon inside. The actual trigger for the dealer is going to be located here around the side. Right there. And let's figure out where on earth does our new stuff spawn. And boy, oh boy, do we have a massive area for our new vehicles to spawn in at. Shouldn't have any issue in buying a huge fleet if you want more machinery than what you start out with at the start, because this is a rather large vehicle yard indeed. Let's head on out. Pretty wide entry gate here and out to the road. So first up, we have our flour mill, our grain elevator production. We have our interactive icon. We have our dump point. And then as far as our pallet spawn point, well, let's see if we can't figure out where that might be. My initial guess is it's going to be in that shed, because we're not seeing anything marked here. So my initial guess is the pallets are going to spawn inside the shed there. Would be nice to have those pallet markers. With respect to production, our items available for sale, the ability to sell our grain, our production items, our animal outputs, we're going to give the map 3/4 of a point, because we do have 4 production items that we cannot sell at the start. Remember, that is fabric, clothes, planks, and furniture. Here we have a large build site for additional productions. Secondary farm yards, whatever you really want. Across the street from that, we have our spinnery sell point. We're going to need to have to come around the side of these large tanks to get to the spinnery. Located right here. And the entrance in here is rather narrow, so be cautious coming around here with a large trailer. We have our lime buy point, and then we have our dairy. So we have our interactive icon, we have our dump point, and we have our pallet production point right there. Now this is going to be a milk sell point. Right there, it's Swift Milk. And then our sell point located right here. This one is going to be for our Swift Market. We'll run into first person perspective. Let's go ahead and make our way north to our animal dealer. Now, with respect to buildings where appropriate are using the new texture technique as well as ground textures and such, we are going to give the map a half a point because a lot of these newer buildings, as best as I can tell, are not using the new 3D texturing technique. I may be mistaken, but just visually, they look fairly flat. So here we have our animal dealer. Yeah, live animal auction going on down here. So we've got our animal pins, and here you can see, like I said, we have our cow pen, which is good for 140 cows. Already has 150 in it. So if you are going to be looking to breed your cattle, you will need to sell that down a bit. Here we have our bale sell point at our animal dealer. Another buildable zone. To the right, we have another fuel depot. There are 2 fuel depots on the map itself. And then we have Monette Seeds, which is a sell point as well as a production area. So we have our sell point, dump point there. And this is going to be Monette Seeds. Seed production. Let's just go ahead and take a look. And from here, we can make seed from wheat, barley, oat, canola, soybeans, corn, and sorghum. And all of those recipes are going to require liquid fertilizer and then herbicide. And then we're going to get 100 units of seed out of that. Now we need to head all the way down just south of field 14 so we can then make our way across the map over to field 8. That's where we're going to find the second fuel area on the map, as well as another sell point. So I'm not really sure why this map is available for PC only. There's nothing really standing out to me that would imply that it's got custom scripts or anything that is unique licensed. Those are typically things that would require a map to not be available for all platforms. It is a standard size map at that as well. So again, I'm really not sure why it's not available for all platforms. Maybe it's coming to all platforms later. That's about the only thing I can think of at the moment. So this section of the map is where we're going to find our smallest fields and what I would say is our most irregularly shaped fields. So this is predominantly going to be a fueling point, but we also have Robert's Garage, which could be used to store items. Then we have Jackie's Cafe. Nice little country cafe. Classy little place. Then across the street from that, we have the sawmill. Now remember, if you do buy the sawmill, you don't have the ability to sell planks at all at the start. So you will need to put your own plank sell point down. We've got our dump point for our fill point for wood chips, our dump point for our logs, and our wood cell trigger. Then we have our plank spawn point and interactive trigger on the side. Let's make our way over to the cow farm. Overall, the map plays very well. I shouldn't have any issue with respect to performance, even on some of the more lower end systems that can run Farm Sim 22. Everything should run this quite well. Now, with respect to Farmland 10, which is a large pasture area, it is fenced. I was not able to sell the fence. It seems to be permanently a part of the map. Here we have Monette cattle. All of the buildings here at Monette cattle are permanently in part of the map, aside from the silage bunker. Let's head on in here, and the cows have pretty much free reign of this whole area. That's why we're going to see them all over the place. We've got our tedder in our bucket down here. Pull through silage bunker. Our TMR mixer is already loaded with some product, which is cool. 13,000 liters of TMR. We have our milk trigger located right there. Our cow drop-off point, pickup point, and again, we have 10 more cows in this pen than what it is rated to hold. So if you are looking to do animal reproduction, then you will need to get rid of some cows first. We've got our food trough. Our straw trigger is located right through here. Then we have our slurry point. Also at the dairy farm, we have then the fermenting silo. Which is located right here. Go ahead and check that recipe out. And from here, we're going to be able to bring chaff, hay, or grass, and we're going to be able to produce silage from that. So we have our dump point, we have our empty point. Then we have a couple sheds over here at the cow farm. And as we make our way down to the final area of the map, let's go ahead and kind of wrap up our scoring system by talking about our final scoring metric, that is player and interactive areas being clearly marked. We did have a little bit of issue with the grain mill, which is the flour production. not really sure, not really clear where the flower pallets for that are going to spawn at. So we are going to take off a quarter of a point there. So what's that going to do to the total score? That's going to give the map a score of 3.75 out of 5. Let's do a quick rundown again. A little summary of how we've scored things. The map's got a full point with respect to production. We have 5 production items built in, as well as several buildable areas for the inclusion of additional production. We took off a quarter of a point because we cannot sell fabric or clothing. In addition, we cannot sell planks or furniture. We took off a quarter point with respect to can the farms be customizable because of the fact that we do have decor elements at the main starting farm that we cannot get rid of. And then the cow farm is, for the most part, permanently embedded in the map, aside from our silage bunker. We give the map a half a point with respect to textures and buildings using the new texturing technique, because most of these custom buildings do appear to be kind of flat in their texture. And then we gave the map 3/4 of a point with respect to the player interactive areas being clearly marked, because we were lacking the pallet marker at the flour mill, or the grain mill, I should say. So we have yet another buildable area down here. Then we have our root crop sell point, as well as our stone crusher located in the extreme southeast portion of the map. So we have a stone crusher. And then our root sell point. There we are. I thought we'd have to open that up. You guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you all think of the Monette Farms map? And until next time, happy farming.